The organ music stops mid-note. Derek Lane stands frozen at the altar, his hands trembling as they reach for the lace veil. The chapel goes silent. Not peaceful silence, but the kind that presses against your chest until you can't breathe. 47 guests lean forward in their seats. A camera phone flashes from the third row. He's 29 years old, wearing a rented tuxedo that smells like mothballs and someone else's cologne. The woman before him is 78. Her wedding dress is pure silk, custom-made, worth more than every paycheck he's earned in his entire life combined. Pastor Whitmore clears his throat. You may now kiss your bride. Derek's fingers brush the veil's edge. His stomach twists. This morning, he threw up twice, once when he put on the bow tie, once when he saw his reflection in the mirror. Now his palms are slick with sweat as he lifts the delicate fabric. Before we go any further, make sure you're subscribed, because what happens in the next 2 weeks will shatter everything you think you know about love, sacrifice, and the price of desperation. Celeste Harwood's face emerges from beneath the veil. Her skin is paper-thin, mapped with age spots and fine wrinkles. But her eyes, sharp and gray like winter steel, hold something Derek can't name. Not pity, not triumph, something else entirely. Hi viewers, kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. She smiles. Small, knowing, like she can see straight through his ribs into the guilty parts of his heart. Hello, husband, she whispers. The words hit him like cold water. Behind them, someone coughs. A woman in a purple hat shakes her head. The photographer's camera clicks 3 times fast. Click, 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 capturing the exact moment Derek Lane becomes the most hated man in Charleston, South Carolina. He leans down. His lips barely touch her cheek. The kiss lasts less than a second, but it feels like drowning. When he pulls back, Celeste's hand finds his. Her fingers are cold and bony, wrapped in diamond rings that catch the chandelier light. She squeezes once. Firm, deliberate. It's going to be all right, she says, so quiet only he can hear. But Derek knows better. Nothing about this is all right. Nothing about this will ever be all right. The guests stand. Some clap. Most don't. The chapel doors swing open to blinding sunlight, and Celeste takes his arm like she's done this 100 times before. Like marrying a man 50 years younger is the most natural thing in the world. They walk down the aisle together, step by step, his heart hammering so loud he's sure everyone can hear it. In the back row, a teenager holds up her phone, recording. Her caption is already typed. Gold digger married a grandma. This is sick. Derek doesn't see it yet, but he will. The whole world will. Outside, rise falls like broken promises. Celeste's mansion waits across town. 15 rooms, 3 acres, a view of the bay that millionaires kill for. Tonight, he'll sleep in a guest room with Egyptian cotton sheets while his 6-year-old daughter, Nora, asks questions he can't answer. But right now, in this moment, all Derek can think about is the envelope tucked inside Celeste's lawyer's briefcase. The prenuptial agreement. The inheritance clause. The countdown that started the second he said, I do. Celeste pauses at the chapel steps. She turns to him, still smiling that strange smile. 2 weeks, she says. Derek's blood goes cold. What? But she's already moving again, waving to guests who won't wave back. He follows because he has no choice. Because the eviction notice is still taped to his apartment door. Because Nora's school called yesterday about unpaid lunch fees. Because his dead wife's last words, promise me you'll keep her safe, still echo in his skull every night before sleep. The limousine door opens. Black leather interior. Champagne on ice. Celeste slides in first, arranging her dress like a queen. Derek climbs in after her. The door shuts. The world outside becomes muffled and distant. She pours 2 glasses of champagne. Hand him one. To new beginnings, she says, raising her glass. Derek's hand shakes so badly the champagne nearly spills. He doesn't toast. Can't. Celeste drinks anyway. Then she leans back against the seat, eyes closed, and whispers something under her breath. Something that sounds like a name. Miriam. Derek's spine goes rigid. That's impossible. There's no way she could know. But before he can ask, Celeste's eyes open again. And this time there are tears in them. 3 months earlier, Derek Lane wakes up at 4:47 a.m. to the sound of his daughter coughing. He's on his feet before he's fully awake, stumbling through the dark hallway of their two-bedroom apartment. The carpet is worn down to the floorboards in spots. The walls are thin enough to hear Mrs. Chin's television through the plaster. Nora's room is cold. The heater broke in January. The landlord keeps promising to fix it. She's tangled in her blanket, pink fleece, torn at the corner where she drags it everywhere. Her cough rattles wet and deep. 6 years old, and already she coughs like an old woman. Hey, baby girl. Derek sits on the edge of her bed, pressing his palm to her forehead. Hot. Too hot. Daddy. Her voice comes out scratchy. My throat hurts. I know, sweetheart. I know. He reaches for the children's Tylenol on her nightstand. Nearly empty. He makes a mental note to buy more, then remembers his bank account balance and feels his chest tighten. Nora takes the medicine without complaining. She's learned not to complain. Learned it the same way she learned to eat cereal for dinner 3 nights a week and wear shoes with holes in the soles until they fall apart completely. Go back to sleep, Derek whispers, tucking the blanket around her shoulders. Daddy's got work in an hour. Will you make pancakes later? His throat closes up. They haven't had pancakes in 2 months. No eggs. No milk. No butter. Maybe tomorrow, he lies. Sleep now. She believes him because she's 6 and still thinks her father can fix everything. Derek watches her eyes flutter closed before he stands. His knees crack. 29 years old, and his body already feels ancient. That's what construction work does. Breaks you down piece by piece until there's nothing left but exhaustion and ibuprofen. In the kitchen, he makes instant coffee with tap water that tastes like rust. The electric bill sits on the counter, third notice stamped in red. Next to it, the eviction warning. Next to that, the stack of hospital bills from when Miriam was dying. 2 years ago, leukemia ate his wife alive over 8 months. Ate their savings. Ate their future. Ate every good thing they'd built together until all that was left was debt and a little girl who still asked when mommy was coming home. Derek drinks his coffee, standing up, staring at the bills until the numbers blur together. His phone buzzes. Text from his boss. Don't bother coming in today. We're letting people go. You're one of them. The coffee cup slips from his hand, shatters on the linoleum floor. Brown liquid spreads across the tiles like blood. He doesn't move. Can't move. Just stands there watching coffee seep into the cracks while his brain tries to process what just happened. No job. No savings. No plan. The apartment is silent except for Nora's congested breathing from the other room. Derek's hands start shaking. Not the small tremor from earlier. This is the full-body kind, the kind that comes when panic sets in and won't let go. He grips the counter edge until his knuckles turn white. His phone buzzes again. Different number. Unknown. Grocery delivery app here. You're approved for driver position. Start tonight if interested. It's not construction wages. Not even close. But it's something. His thumbs move before his brain catches up. Yes, I'll start tonight. He cleans up the broken cup. Gets dressed. Kisses Nora goodbye while she's still sleeping. Walks to the bus stop because his truck died 3 weeks ago and he can't afford the repair. The sun comes up orange and cold over Charleston. Derek watches it rise while he waits for the bus that will take him to a job he doesn't want, in a life he never planned for, carrying weight he can't put down. That night, he delivers groceries until midnight. $73 in tips. Not enough. Never enough. His last delivery is to a house on Battery Street, the rich part of town where the houses have names instead of numbers and the driveways are longer than his entire street. The address reads, Harwood Estate. Derek pulls up in his borrowed car. The mansion looms 3 stories tall, white columns gleaming under floodlights. Garden spread out like something from magazine. The bay glitters behind it. He carries 4 bags of groceries up the front steps. Rings the bell. The door opens. And for the first time, Derek Lane meets Celeste Harwood. She's smaller than he expected. Elegant gray hair pinned up. Cream cashmere cardigan. Pearl earrings. But it's her hands that catch his attention, trembling as she reaches for the grocery bags. Thank you, young man. Her voice is steady even though her hands aren't. Would you mind bringing them inside? I'm afraid I'm not as strong as I used to be. Derek follows her into a foyer bigger than his entire apartment. Marble floors, crystal chandelier, oil paintings in gold frames. He sets the bags on her kitchen counter. Granite, spotless, probably costs more than a car. Let me get you a tip, Celeste says, reaching for her purse. That's when Derek's phone rings. The screen lights up. Landlord. His stomach drops. He silences it, but not before Celeste sees. She pauses, purse in hand, studying his face. Trouble? She asks quietly. No, ma'am. The lie tastes bitter. Just life. Celeste nods slowly, like she understands more than he's saying. She hands him a $20 bill. Their fingers brush for half a second. Hers are cold and fragile. Thank you, Derek says. He turns to leave, makes it halfway to the door before she speaks again. Wait. He stops. Celeste stands in her massive kitchen, surrounded by wealth he can't imagine, looking at him with those sharp gray eyes. My porch railing is loose, she says. Would you be interested in fixing it? I'll pay cash. $200. $200. That's Nora's medicine. That's groceries for 2 weeks. Yes, ma'am, Derek says. When? Tomorrow morning. 8 o'clock. He nods and leaves before she can change her mind. Outside, the night air bites cold. Derek sits in the borrowed car for 5 full minutes, hands gripping the steering wheel, trying to remember how to breathe. He doesn't know it yet, but tomorrow morning, everything changes. Tomorrow morning, Celeste Harwood will ask him a question that will break his life in half. The porch railing is barely loose. Derek arrives at 8 a.m. sharp, toolbox in hand, and realizes within 30 seconds that the railing doesn't actually need fixing. Maybe a single screw tightened. Maybe nothing at all. But he doesn't say anything. $200 is $200. Celeste watches him from her wicker chair, wrapped in a shawl despite the morning sun. She's drinking tea from a china cup, so delicate, it looks like it might shatter if you breathe on it wrong. Beautiful morning, she says. Yes, ma'am. Derek kneels, pretending to examine the railing posts. The wood is solid. Quality craftsmanship. Probably older than he is, and still stronger than anything he could afford. You have children? Celeste asks. The question catches him off guard. A daughter. Nora. She's 6. And her mother? Derek's chest tightens. She passed. 2 years ago. I'm sorry. Celeste sips her tea. That's a heavy burden for a young man. He doesn't answer, just tightens a screw that doesn't need tightening. They sit in silence for a while. Not uncomfortable, just quiet. The bay stretches out beyond the garden, water catching the light like scattered glass. Boats drift past. Seagulls call. Somewhere in the distance, a church bell rings. Derek wonders what it's like to live in a place like this. To wake up every morning surrounded by beauty and silence instead of coughing and overdue bills. I lost my son, Celeste says suddenly. 20 years ago. Car accident. He was 31. Derek looks up. Her face hasn't changed. Still calm, still composed, but something in her voice cracks at the edges. I'm sorry, he says, because he doesn't know what else to say. After he died, people started circling. Celeste sets her teacup down with a soft clink. Distant relatives I'd never met. Financial advisors with investment opportunities. Charitable organizations. Everyone wanted something. Everyone needed something. And I realized I'd become nothing but money to them. Not a person. Just a bank account with a heartbeat. Derek's hands still on the railing. He's not sure why she's telling him this. I hired investigators, Celeste continues, to screen people before they got close. It sounds paranoid, I know, but you'd be surprised how creative people become when they smell inheritance. She picks up her tea again, but doesn't drink. Just holds it. Loneliness is a strange thing, she says. You can be surrounded by people and still feel completely alone. You can live in a mansion and still suffocate. Derek stands, brushing sawdust off his jeans, even though there isn't any. Your railing's fixed. Is it? Celeste smiles faintly. That was quick. He knows she knows it barely needed fixing, but neither of them says it. She reaches into her cardigan pocket and pulls out an envelope. Hands it to him. It's thick with cash. 200 as promised, she says. But would you be willing to come back? There are other things that need attention. The garden shed door. The gutters. Small projects. Derek should say no. Should take the money and leave and never come back to this world that isn't his. But he thinks about Nora's cough, the eviction notice, the empty refrigerator. Yes, ma'am, he says. Good. Celeste stands slowly, using the chair arm for support. Come Tuesday, 9 o'clock, and bring your daughter if you'd like. The garden has a swing set. My son used to play there. Something in Derek's throat catches. That's kind of you. Kindness has nothing to do with it. Celeste walks toward her door, then pauses. I'm just tired of empty houses and empty conversations. She goes inside, leaving Derek alone on the porch. He looks at the envelope in his hands. $200. More than he made in 3 days of grocery deliveries. His phone buzzes. Text from Nora's school. Final notice. Lunch account balance overdue. Please pay $47 by Friday or Nora will not receive meals. Derek opens the envelope, counts out $50, puts in his pocket for the school payment. The rest goes toward rent. Tuesday comes fast. He brings Nora. She's shy at first, hiding behind his legs when Celeste opens the door. But then Celeste offers her cookies, real homemade cookies, still warm, and shows her the swing set, and within 10 minutes Nora is laughing in a way Derek hasn't heard in months. He watches from the garden shed, supposedly fixing the door hinge, but really just watching his daughter be happy. Celeste joins him after a while, moving slowly across the grass. She's lovely, Celeste says. She's my whole world. I can see that. Celeste is quiet for a moment. Then, may I ask you something personal? Derek's shoulders tense. Sure. If you could give her everything she deserves, education, security, a real future, would you do something difficult? Something that might look wrong to other people, but felt right to you? The question hangs in the air like smoke. What do you mean? Derek asks slowly. Celeste watches Nora swing higher, ponytail flying. Just a hypothetical. But it doesn't sound hypothetical. It sounds like a test. I'd do anything for her, Derek says. And he means it. Celeste nods. That's what I thought. She walks away before he can ask what she means. That night, after he drops Nora at the neighbor's apartment for babysitting, after he works his delivery shift until 1 a.m., after he finally collapses in a bed, Derek can't stop thinking about that question. Would you do something difficult? He falls asleep wondering. Wakes up still wondering. Wednesday, he goes back to fix the gutters. Thursday, he repaints the garden fence. Friday, he replaces 3 loose floorboards in the sunroom. Celeste pays him generously every time. Always cash. Always in an envelope. They talk. Small conversations at first, then deeper ones. She tells him about her husband who died 15 years ago, her charity work, her photography hobby, the loneliness that fills rooms no amount of money can furnish. Derek tells her about Miriam, how they met in community college, how she wanted to be a nurse, how leukemia gave them 8 months warning, but it still wasn't enough time to say goodbye. She made me promise, Derek says one afternoon while fixing a loose shutter. Right before she died, she said, "Promise me you'll keep Nora safe no matter what." And I promised, but I don't know if I can keep it. His voice cracks. He hasn't cried in front of anyone since the funeral. Celeste hands him a handkerchief. Real cloth, monogrammed. You're doing better than you think. I'm drowning, Derek says. I'm working 2 jobs, and I still can't keep up. The rent, the bills, her school, everything costs more than I have. And I keep promising her things will get better, but they don't. They just get worse. Celeste doesn't offer empty platitudes, just sits with him in the silence. Finally, she speaks. I need to ask you something serious. Derek looks up. Celeste's gray eyes hold his. Steady, unflinching. Would you marry me? The words hit him like a freight train. He actually laughs, a shocked, disbelieving sound. What? I'm not joking. Celeste's voice is calm. I'm 78 years old. My health is failing. I don't have family left. And I've spent the last month watching you. Your character, your devotion to your daughter, your integrity, even when you're desperate. Derek shakes his head. You can't be serious. I'll leave you everything. The house, my investments, my estate. It's worth $11 million. All you have to do is marry me. Keep me company in my final days. And when I'm gone, you and Nora will never worry about money again. The world tilts sideways. Derek grips the ladder he's standing on. He can't find words. You don't even know me. I know enough. Celeste stands, smoothing her skirt. Think about it. My lawyer will draw up the papers. No obligation. Just think about what it would mean for Nora. She walks into the house, leaving Derek frozen on the ladder, heart pounding, mind spinning. That night, he lies awake until dawn, staring at the water-stained ceiling of his apartment. Nora coughs in the next room. The refrigerator hums empty. The eviction notice glows in his mind like a neon sign. Would you do something difficult? Morning comes. Derek makes his decision. He picks up his phone with shaking hands and dials Celeste's number. She answers on the second ring. Yes. I'll do it, Derek whispers. I'll marry you. The lawyer's office smells like leather and old money. Derek sits in a chair that probably costs more than his car used to be worth before it died. His palms are sweating. He wipes them on his jeans every 30 seconds. Celeste sits beside him, perfectly composed in a navy dress with pearl buttons. She hasn't looked at him since they arrived. The lawyer, Mr. Bernard Chun, gray-haired and sharp-eyed, slides papers across the mahogany desk. I need to make sure both parties understand the terms. Derek tries to focus on the words. They blur together. Marriage contract, estate transfer, beneficiary clause, terminal illness disclosure. That last phrase cuts through the fog. Terminal illness? Mr. Chin glances at Celeste, who nods permission. Mrs. Harwood has stage 4 pancreatic cancer, the lawyer says gently. Diagnosed 6 months ago. Her doctors estimate she has 3 to 6 months remaining. The air leaves Derek's lungs. He knew she was sick. She'd mentioned failing health, but this is different. This is real. This is watching someone schedule their own death. I'm sorry, he says to Celeste. I didn't realize it was terminal. Celeste's smile is sad. That's precisely why I need someone I can trust. My time is limited. I refuse to spend it surrounded by vultures waiting for me to die. Mr. Chun continues. The terms are straightforward. You'll marry Mrs. Harwood, reside in the estate, provide companionship, nothing physical, nothing romantic. Simply be present. In return, upon her death, you inherit everything. The house, her investment portfolio, her liquid assets, total estimated value, $11.3 million. $11.3 million. Derek's throat closes. That number is impossible. Unreal. He could pay off every debt, buy Nora new shoes, send her to college, give her everything Miriam wanted for her. There's a morality clause, Mr. Chin adds. If you engage in infidelity, abuse, or abandon your responsibilities, the inheritance is void. Everything goes to charity. I wouldn't, Derek starts. I know, Celeste interrupts quietly. That's why I chose you. Mr. Chun slides a pen across the desk. If you're certain, Mr. Lane, sign here. And here. Initial here. Derek picks up the pen. It's heavy, real gold probably. His hand shakes so badly the first initial looks like a child wrote it. He thinks about Nora. Her cough. Her worn shoes. The way she pretends cereal for dinner is her favorite meal. He thinks about Miriam. Her last words. Promise me. He signs. The pen scratches across paper. 3 signatures. 4 initials. 1 decision that will change everything. Congratulations, Mr. Chun says without emotion. The wedding is scheduled for 2 weeks from today. Saturday, March 11th. A small ceremony, as Mrs. Harwood requested. Derek stands on legs that don't quite work right. The room tilts. He grabs the desk edge. Are you all right? Celeste asks. I need air. He walks out fast, down the hallway, through the lobby, out into the parking lot where he can finally breathe. Cold air burns his lungs. He bends over, hands on his knees, trying not to throw up. What has he just done? Behind him, the door opens. Celeste's footsteps are slow and careful. Second thoughts? She asks. I just sold myself. The words come out bitter. That's what this is, isn't it? I'm selling myself for money. No. Celeste's voice is firm. You're accepting help. There's a difference. Is there? Derek straightens up, facing her. Everyone's going to think I'm a gold digger. that I'm taking advantage of a dying woman. They'll call me every name in the book. Let them. Celeste steps closer. I don't care what strangers think, and neither should you. All that matters is that your daughter has a future. That's not selling yourself. That's being a good father. Derek wants to believe her. God, he wants to believe her. Why me, he asks. You could have anyone. Why choose some broke single dad you barely know? Celeste is quiet for a long moment. Then, because everyone else wanted something from me before they even knew my name. But you? You only said yes when you were drowning. Not scheming. Drowning. There's honor in that kind of desperation. She reaches into her purse and pulls out a small photograph. Hand it to him. It shows a young man, maybe 25, dark hair, bright smile, standing in front of the same mansion where Derek has been working. He's holding a basketball, mid-laugh, full of life. My son, Celeste says. Michael. He died in a car accident when he was 31. Drunk driver ran a red light. Her voice doesn't waver, but her hands do. He was kind, generous, would have been a wonderful father, but he never got the chance. She takes the photo back, tucks it away carefully. When I look at you with Nora, Celeste continues, I see what Michael might have been. A good man trying his best against impossible odds. I can't bring my son back, but I can help you. And maybe that's enough. Derek's eyes burn. He blinks hard. I won't let you down, he says. I know. Celeste pats his arm once. Now go home. Tell Nora she's moving to a house with a garden. Don't tell her about the marriage yet. Let her adjust first. We'll figure out the rest as we go. She turns to leave, then pauses. One more thing. Yes. The people in Charleston can be cruel. They'll judge you, hate you, say terrible things. But you must remember, their opinions don't pay your bills. Their judgment doesn't feed your daughter. You owe them nothing. With that, she walks back inside, leaving Derek alone in the parking lot with a signed contract and a future he doesn't recognize. That night, he tells Nora they're moving. She's eating cereal at their tiny kitchen table when he breaks the news. We're going to live in a big house, baby girl, with a garden, in your own room. And, with a nice lady? Nora's eyes light up. Miss Celeste with the cookies? Yeah, with Miss Celeste. Is she going to be my grandma? The question hits him in the chest. Something like that. Nora grins, cereal milk dripping down her chin. I like her. She doesn't talk to me like I'm little. She talks to me like I'm real. Derek's throat tightens. He pulls Nora into a hug, holding her close enough to feel her heartbeat against his chest. You're the most real thing in my life, he whispers. The next 2 weeks pass in a blur. He packs their few belongings, gives notice to the landlord who doesn't care, says goodbye to neighbors who barely notice. 3 days before the wedding, Celeste calls him. I need to warn you about something. What? The press might catch wind of this. Age gap marriages attract attention, especially when money's involved. Are you prepared for that? Derek closes his eyes. No, but I'll manage. Good, because once we say I do, there's no going back. The world will judge us. They'll tear us apart, but we'll endure it together. Agreed. Agreed. The morning of the wedding, Derek wakes at 5 a.m. He can't eat, can't think, just paces the motel room where he and Nora spent their last night before moving into the estate. Nora sleeps curled under thin blankets, her stuffed rabbit tucked under her chin. Derek kneels beside her bed, watching her breathe. I'm sorry, he whispers. I'm sorry if this ruins things. I'm sorry if people are cruel. But I promise you'll never go hungry again. I promise you'll have what you deserve, even if it costs me everything else. She doesn't hear him, just keeps sleeping, innocent and unaware. At noon, Derek puts on the tuxedo Celeste stylist brought. It fits perfectly, probably costs more than 3 months of rent. He looks in the mirror and barely recognizes himself. At 1 p.m., he stands at the altar in Celeste's private chapel, waiting. The organ starts. Doors open. Celeste walks down the aisle alone. No one to give her away. She's stunning. White lace dress, elegant and understated. But it's her expression that catches him. She's not smiling, not crying, just walking forward with purpose, like she's completing a mission she started long ago. When she reaches him, she takes his hand. Her fingers are cold. Ready, she whispers. Derek swallows hard, nods. Pastor Whitmore reads from a leather-bound book. The words wash over Derek without landing. He's floating somewhere outside his body, watching this happen to someone else. Do you, Derek Lane, take Celeste Harwood to be your lawfully wedded wife? His mouth is dry. I do. And do you, Celeste Harwood, take Derek Lane to be your lawfully wedded husband? I do. Her voice is steady. Then, by the power vested in me, the chapel doors burst open. A woman storms in, 50-something, expensive suit, fury radiating off her like heat. This is a fraud, she shouts. That man is marrying her for money. Someone stop this. Security guards appear. Escort her out. She's screaming the whole way. Gold digger. Everyone knows what you're doing. You won't get away with this. The doors slam shut. Silence falls again. Pastor Whitmore clears his throat. As I was saying, you may now kiss the bride. And that's when Derek lifts the veil, his hands shaking, his stomach churning, and sees the truth in Celeste's gray eyes. She's crying. Not sad tears. Something else. Relief, maybe. Or gratitude. Or grief for all the years she spent alone. He kisses her cheek gently. She squeezes his hand. And somewhere in the back row, cameras flash. By nightfall, their wedding photo is viral. The headlines write themselves. Gold digger strikes gold, and broke dad marries dying millionaire, and modern love or modern greed. Derek sees them all on his phone before bed. Celeste finds him on the mansion's back porch, scrolling through comment after comment, calling him shameless, disgusting, pathetic. Turn it off, she says. They hate me. Let them. Celeste sits in the chair beside him. Their hate doesn't change what we know to be true. And what's that? She looks at him fully. That sometimes survival looks like surrender. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is accept grace, even when the world calls it something uglier. Derek's phone buzzes again. Another notification. Another stranger's judgment. He turns it off, sets it down. And for the first time since saying, I do, he lets himself breathe. 2 weeks, Celeste says softly. That's what I told you at the chapel steps, remember? Derek nods. In 2 weeks, you'll understand why I chose you. Why this had to happen exactly this way. She stands slowly. Trust me until then. Can you do that? Yes. She walks inside, leaving him alone under the stars. Derek doesn't know it yet, but she's right. In exactly 14 days, the truth will shatter everything he thinks he knows. And when it does, he'll understand that some promises outlive the people who make them. Chapter 5. Day 1 of marriage. Derek wakes in a guest room that's bigger than his old apartment. Egyptian cotton sheets. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the bay. Furniture that looks like it belongs in a museum. He lies there for 10 minutes, staring at the ceiling, trying to convince himself this is real. Down the hall, Nora is already awake. He hears her laughter, bright and clear, echoing through the mansion. When he finds her, she's in the kitchen with Celeste, both of them covered in flour. Daddy, we're making pancakes. Nora's face is pure joy. Real ones, with chocolate chips. Celeste stands at the stove, moving slowly but deliberately. She's wearing a simple blue dress and pearls. Even at 7 in the morning, she looks elegant. Good morning, husband, she says without looking at him. The words sound strange in her mouth. Clinical, like she's testing how it fits. Morning. Derek pours himself coffee from a pot that probably costs more than his wedding ring. They eat breakfast together at a table that seats 12. Nora talks nonstop about her new room, the garden, the swing set. She doesn't understand why they're here. Doesn't know about the marriage certificate or the inheritance or the countdown clock ticking in the background. She just knows she's happy. After breakfast, Celeste takes her medications. 6 pills, various colors, lined up in a small dish. Derek watches her swallow them one by one, each movement careful and measured. Doctor's appointment Friday, she says quietly. You should come. Okay. Nora runs off to explore the garden. Through the window, Derek watches her spin in circles on the grass, arms outstretched, laughing at nothing. She needed this, Celeste says, following his gaze. A place to be a child. Thank you. The words feel inadequate. For all of this. Celeste sets down her teacup. Don't thank me yet. We still have 13 days. Until what? But she's already standing, already walking away, leaving him with questions that have no answers. Outside, Nora keeps spinning. The morning sun catches her hair. She looks free, and Derek realizes, no matter what comes next, this moment is worth it. The prescription bottle slips from Celeste's hand and shatters across the bathroom floor. Derek hears the crash from downstairs. He takes the steps 2 at a time, heart hammering against his ribs. When he reaches her bedroom door, it's locked. Celeste. He knocks hard. Are you okay? Silence. Then a soft thud. I'm coming in. He throws his shoulder against the door. Once. Twice. The lock gives. She's on the floor, one hand pressed against the tile, the other clutching her stomach. Her face is chalk white. Pills scatter around her like broken promises. Don't move. Derek drops to his knees beside her. I'm calling an ambulance. No. Her voice comes out sharp despite the pain. No hospitals. Not yet. You're on the floor. You need help. I need my medication. She points to a different bottle on the counter. The blue one. 2 pills. His hands shake as he retrieves them. She swallows them dry, grimacing. They sit together on the cold bathroom floor while the pain medication kicks in. 5 minutes. 10. Her breathing slowly evens out. This happens, she says finally. The pain comes in waves. I know how to manage it. You shouldn't be managing it alone. Celeste looks at him then. Really looks at him. I'm not alone anymore, am I? Something shifts in the air between them. Not romantic. Something else. Partnership, maybe. Or shared survival. He helps her to her bed. Tucks the blanket around her shoulders like she's the child instead of the 78-year-old woman who holds his future in her dying hands. Thank you, she whispers. Derek sits in the chair beside her bed. Tell me about the 2 weeks. What happens when the countdown ends? Celeste's eyes flutter closed. You'll meet someone. Someone who will explain everything I can't. Who? My daughter. The words hit him like ice water. You have a daughter? Had. Celeste's voice breaks. I had a daughter. And in 12 days, you'll understand why I'm doing this. Why it had to be you. Why the timing matters. She falls asleep before he can ask anything else. Derek sits in the dark, watching her chest rise and fall, counting each breath like it might be the last. Outside, Nora plays in the garden, unaware that the woman who makes her pancakes is dying one day at a time. Make sure you're subscribed and notifications are on. The truth about Celeste's daughter will change everything you think you know about this marriage. Drop your thoughts in the comments and share this story to inspire others. The envelope arrives on day 6. No return address. Just Celeste's name written in handwriting that looks like it's trying too hard to be anonymous. Derek finds it on the front porch when he takes out the trash. Something about it feels wrong. He brings it inside, sets it on the kitchen counter. When Celeste comes down for breakfast, moving slower than yesterday, she sees it immediately. All the color drains from her face. Who delivered this? Her voice is sharp. I don't know. It was just there. She opens it with trembling hands. Inside is a single photograph. Derek can't see what it shows, but he watches Celeste's expression crumble. She clutches the counter edge. Who is that, he asks. Someone from a long time ago. She tears the photo in half, then in half again, throws the pieces in the trash. Someone who should stay buried. Celeste, I need to tell you something. She sits down heavily. About why I really chose you. Before she can continue, the doorbell rings. They both freeze. It's barely 7 in the morning. No one visits this early. Derek goes to the door, opens it. A woman stands on the porch, 40-something, designer clothes, perfectly styled hair. But her eyes are cold. Hard. I'm Victoria Harwood, she says. Celeste's niece. And I need to talk to my aunt about this ridiculous marriage before it goes any further. Celeste appears behind Derek. I have nothing to say to you. Really? Victoria's smile is all teeth. Because I have plenty to say about the gold digger you brought into this family. I've hired investigators. I know everything about him. The debts. The desperation. How convenient that he showed up right when you started dying. Get out. Celeste's voice is ice. I'm contesting the will. My lawyers are already drafting the papers. You might be able to manipulate some desperate single father, but you can't cut family out of their inheritance. Not legally. Watch me. Victoria's expression hardens. You always were a selfish woman. First you abandoned your own daughter. Now you're giving everything to a stranger. Our family deserves better. Your family. Celeste laughs, bitter and sharp. You didn't care about family when you needed money. You only care now that you smell an inheritance slipping away. Victoria turns to Derek. I hope you're enjoying your temporary wealth, because when she dies, I'm taking you to court, and I will win. She walks away, heels clicking on the stone path. Derek closes the door. His hands are shaking. She can do that. Contest the will. She can try. Celeste moves to the window, watching Victoria's car disappear down the driveway. But she won't succeed. I made sure of it. You said you abandoned your daughter. The words come out quietly. What did she mean? Celeste is silent for a long moment. Then, I gave my daughter up for adoption when she was 3 days old. It was 1968. I was 21 and unmarried. My family gave me 2 choices, give her up or lose everything. So I chose survival, and I've regretted it every day since. The daughter you mentioned before is the same one. I found her eventually, reached out, but by then it was too late. She'd built a life without me. She didn't want a mother who'd thrown her away. Celeste's voice cracks. She died 5 years ago. Cancer, just like me. And I never got to tell her I was sorry. Derek's chest tightens. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Just understand, this inheritance, this marriage, all of it is my attempt to fix what I broke. To give someone else's daughter the future I couldn't give my own. She walks away before he can respond. That night, Derek can't sleep. He lies in his expensive bed, staring at the ceiling, while pieces of the puzzle shift in his mind but won't quite fit together. Downstairs, he hears movement. Celeste, probably, unable to sleep either. He goes to check on her and finds her in the study, sitting at her desk with a box of old photographs spread out before her. Can't sleep? She asks without looking up. Too much in my head. She holds up a photograph. This was my daughter, Sarah, 3 days old. The only picture I have from before I gave her away. The baby in the photo is tiny, red-faced, perfect. She looks like Nora, Derek says softly. I know. Celeste sets the photo down carefully. That's part of why I chose you. When I saw Nora that first day, laughing in my garden, for just a moment I saw Sarah, the child I never got to watch grow up. And I thought, maybe I can't fix my past, but I can protect their future. 8 days left, Derek says. 8 days until you understand everything. That's when his phone buzzes. Text from an unknown number. You think you've won? You have no idea what's coming. The real game hasn't even started yet. Don't miss what happens next. Subscribe and turn on notifications. Because the countdown is almost over and the truth will shatter everything. Share your thoughts in the comments and inspire others with this story of sacrifice and secrets. Day 9. Celeste collapses during breakfast. One moment she's reaching for her coffee. The next, she's on the floor, unconscious, her breathing shallow and rapid. Nora screams. Derek dials 911 with shaking hands. The ambulance arrives in 6 minutes. Feels like 6 hours. Paramedics lift Celeste onto a stretcher. Her skin is gray. Her pulse is weak. Is she going to die? Nora's face is wet with tears. No, baby. She's going to be okay. The lie tastes like ash. They follow the ambulance to Charleston Memorial. Derek carries Nora through the emergency room doors while nurses swarm around Celeste's stretcher, calling out medical terms he doesn't understand. A doctor pulls him aside. Are you family? I'm her husband. The doctor's expression flickers. Surprise, judgment, something else, but she keeps it professional. Her cancer has progressed faster than expected. The tumors are pressing on major organs. We're admitting her for pain management and observation. How long does she have? Days. Maybe a week. I'm sorry. The words hollow him out. He knew this was coming. Knew from the beginning. But knowing doesn't make it easier. They let him see her once she's settled in a private room. She's awake, but groggy from pain medication. And 4 drips, clear fluid into her arm. Monitors beep steadily. Where's Nora? She asks. Cafeteria. The nurses gave her coloring books. Good. Celeste's hand finds his. Listen carefully. My lawyer is coming tomorrow. There are things you need to know before the end. Things about Sarah. About why I structured the inheritance the way I did. Just rest. We could talk later. There might not be a later. She squeezes his hand with surprising strength. Promise me you'll protect Nora. No matter what Victoria tries. No matter what anyone says. I promise. And promise me you'll forgive yourself. For marrying a dying woman. For accepting help when you needed it. For surviving when others didn't. Derek's throat closes up. I don't know if I can. Try. Her eyes flutter closed. For Nora. Try. She falls asleep holding his hand. He sits beside her bed while machines measure her decline in numbers and beeps. Outside the window, the sun sets over Charleston. Beautiful and indifferent. His phone rings. Victoria. He doesn't answer. She calls again. And again. Finally, he picks up. If you're calling to gloat. I'm calling to warn you. Victoria's voice is tight. Someone else knows about the inheritance. Someone who has as much claim to it as I do. Maybe more. And they're coming for you. Who? You'll find out soon enough. Just know this. You're not the hero in this story. You're just another pawn in a game that started long before you showed up. She hangs up. Derek stares at his phone, Victoria's words echoing in his head. That night, while Nora sleeps in a chair beside Celeste's bed, Derek walks the hospital corridors. 4th floor. Oncology wing. Death dressed up in clean white walls and antiseptic smell. He passes other rooms. Other families. Other people saying goodbye. In the chapel, he sits in the back pew. He hasn't prayed since Miriam died. Hasn't believed in a God who would take a mother from her 6-year-old daughter. But tonight he tries. For Celeste. For Nora. For himself. Please, if anyone's listening, please let this mean something. Let this pain have purpose. Let me not have sold my soul for nothing. No answer comes. Just silence and the distant sound of monitors beeping in rhythm with dying hearts. When he returns to Celeste's room, someone is standing in the doorway. A man, 50s, expensive suit, carrying a briefcase. Mr. Lane, the man extends his hand. I'm Robert Chun, Mrs. Harwood's lawyer. We spoke on the phone. It's 1 a.m. Mrs. Harwood called me. Said it was urgent. May I come in? Nora is still asleep. Celeste is awake now, propped up on pillows, looking more alert than she has in days. Thank you for coming, Robert, she says. The lawyer opens his briefcase, pulls out a folder. I have the documents you requested, but I need to confirm. You're certain about this? Completely certain. What documents? Derek asks. Celeste looks at him. The truth about Sarah. About who she really was. And about who will be arriving tomorrow to claim what they think is theirs. Robert hands Derek the folder. Mrs. Harwood's daughter, Sarah, had a child before she died. A daughter. Your wife has been supporting her financially for years, but anonymously. The girl doesn't know about the inheritance. Doesn't know about any of this. Derek's hands shake as he opens the folder. Inside is a photograph of a young woman. Maybe 25, dark hair, gray eyes that look familiar. That's Keisha, Robert says. Sarah's daughter. Celeste's granddaughter. And tomorrow, she's going to walk through that door and turn your entire world upside down. Stay subscribed and hit that notification bell. Day 10 brings revelations that will change everything about this marriage, this inheritance, and what Celeste has really been planning all along. Comment below and share this story to inspire others navigating impossible choices. Keisha Morrison arrives at 10 a.m. sharp, carrying questions and fury in equal measure. She's younger than the photograph suggested. Mid-20s, dark jeans, leather jacket, natural hair pulled back, and eyes that burn with the kind of anger that's been building for years. Which one of you is the gold digger? She stands in Celeste's hospital room doorway like she's ready for war. Derek stands. I'm Derek Lane, Celeste's husband. Keisha's laugh is sharp and bitter. Husband, right? Because that's not completely predatory. How much is she paying you to play dress up? Keisha. Celeste's voice is weak but firm. That's enough. Enough. Keisha steps into the room. You send lawyers to my apartment. Drop a bomb about some inheritance I never asked for. Tell me I have a dying grandmother I didn't know existed. And now I'm supposed to be polite. I'm sorry. I should have reached out differently. Should have told you years ago. You should have told my mother years ago. Before she died, thinking nobody wanted her. The words hit like physical blows. Celeste flinches. Derek sees tears slide down her face. Your mother knew I tried, Celeste whispers. I sent letters. She sent them back unopened. I tried to see her at the hospital when she was sick. She refused. By the time I found the courage to really fight for a relationship, she was gone. So you're doing this now? Leaving money to some stranger. Keisha gestures at Derek. Making him rich while your actual family gets nothing? Robert clears his throat. Actually, that's not accurate. Mrs. Harwood's will leave the estate split 3 ways. 1/3 to Derek Lane and his daughter. 1/3 to you. And 1/3 to a cancer research foundation in your mother's name. Silence. Complete and total silence. Keisha stares. What? The inheritance is shared, Robert continues. Mrs. Harwood structured it this way deliberately. She wanted to provide for the family she couldn't protect while she was healthy. That includes you. That includes Mr. Lane and his daughter. That includes funding research so other families don't lose people the way she lost your mother. Derek's head spins. You never told me about the split. Because I needed you to marry me for the right reasons, Celeste says. If you'd known you were only getting 1/3, would you have said yes? Would you have been willing to face the judgment and hatred for less money? He stops. Honestly doesn't know. See, Celeste smiles sadly. I had to be sure. Had to know you'd do it even if you thought it was everything or nothing. That's the only way I could trust your character. Keisha sits down heavily. This is insane. This is family. Celeste reaches toward her. Complicated, broken, but still family. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I'm asking for a chance. Whatever time I have left, let me tell you about your mother. Let me show you who Sarah was before I gave her away. Let me try to fix what I broke. Keisha's jaw tightens. You can't fix dead people. No, but I can honor them, and I can make sure their daughter doesn't struggle the way they did. For a long moment, nobody speaks. Outside, hospital sounds filter through, nurses talking, machines beeping, visitors walking past. Finally, Keisha stands. I need air. She walks out. Derek follows. Finds her in the stairwell, sitting on the steps, head in her hands. I didn't know, he says. About you. About the split. About any of it. You married a dying woman for money. Pretty sure that's all I need to know about you. I married a dying woman to save my daughter. There's a difference. Keisha looks up. Is there? I think so. I hope so. Derek sits beside her. My wife died 2 years ago. Cancer. We lost everything. Savings, house, future. I was working 2 jobs and still couldn't keep up. When Celeste offered me a way out, I took it. Not because I'm heartless. Because I was drowning and she threw me a rope. Noble. The word drips sarcasm. No. Desperate. But also practical. Celeste needed someone who wouldn't abuse her. Who'd keep her company in her final months. Who'd accept help without strings. And I needed money to give my daughter a future. We made a deal. Both got what we needed. Keisha is quiet. Then, my mother used to tell me about her birth mother. The woman who gave her away. She said she forgave her. Said she understood. But I could tell it hurt. That abandonment never really healed. Celeste knows that. That's why she's trying now. Too little too late. Maybe. But it's something. They sit in silence. Eventually, Keisha stands. I'm going to get coffee. Think about things. Decide if I can even stand to be in that room. She leaves Derek alone in the stairwell. When he returns to Celeste's room, she's crying. Quietly, tears running down her papery skin. She hates me, Celeste whispers. She's hurt. There's a difference. Is there? Derek pulls a chair close. Takes her hand. You did your best with impossible choices. That's all any of us can do. That night, Celeste's condition worsens. Her breathing becomes labored. The doctors increase her morphine. She drifts in and out of consciousness. At 2 a.m., she wakes suddenly, grabs Derek's wrist with surprising strength. Tomorrow, she gasps. The final truth. Promise you'll listen. Promise you'll understand. I promise. And promise you'll forgive me. For the deception. For the secrets. For everything. Her grip loosens. Eyes flutter closed. Derek sits in the dark, counting her breaths, knowing each one brings them closer to the end. The countdown is almost over. Subscribe and turn notifications on because tomorrow reveals the secret that changes everything. The real reason Celeste chose Derek and the truth about a promise made decades ago. Drop your thoughts below and share this story to inspire others. Day 14. The final truth comes with sunrise. Celeste wakes at dawn, clearer than she's been in days. Like her body is giving her one last moment of strength before the end. Gather everyone, she tells Derek. Keisha, Robert, you, Nora can stay with the nurses. What I need to say isn't for children. By 8 a.m., they're all assembled. Keisha stands by the window, arms crossed. Robert sits with his briefcase. Derek pulls a chair close to Celeste's bed. I haven't been completely honest, Celeste begins. Her voice is thin but steady. About why I chose you, Derek. About the real reason behind this marriage. What do you mean? Your wife. Miriam. I knew her. The room tilts. That's impossible. 26 years ago, I gave my daughter up for adoption. Sarah went to a family in Atlanta. Years later, I hired investigators to find her. Make sure she was okay. She was happy, healthy, loved, but she was also sick. Leukemia, same as her birth mother would develop decades later. Celeste pauses to catch her breath. The machines beep faster. Sarah went into remission, got married, had Keisha, then divorced when Keisha was 5. Sarah moved to Charleston for treatment when the cancer came back. She worked at Charleston General. 3rd floor. Oncology. Derek's blood runs cold. Miriam worked at Charleston General. I know. They became friends. Your wife and my daughter. During Sarah's final months, Miriam would visit her. Bring her books. Talk about their daughters. About being mothers. About fighting impossible odds. You're saying, before Sarah died, she made Miriam promise something. Promise that if anything happened to her, someone would watch over Keisha. Make sure she was okay. Miriam agreed. But then Miriam got sick too. And before she died, she made me promise to honor Sarah's request. To find Keisha. To help her. To make sure Sarah's daughter had the future Sarah never got to give her. Tears streamed down Celeste's face. But I couldn't just give Keisha money. She'd refuse it. Too proud. Too hurt by her grandmother's abandonment. So I had to find another way. Someone she might accept help from. Someone who understood loss and desperation and the weight of keeping promises to dying women. Derek can't breathe. You chose me because of Miriam. I chose you because you were the perfect bridge. A man who'd do anything for his daughter. Who'd accept help when he needed it. Who'd marry a dying woman if it meant keeping a promise. I needed someone who understood sacrifice. Someone who wouldn't squander the inheritance. Someone who'd share it fairly when the time came. This whole thing, the handyman jobs, the conversations, the marriage, it was all planned. Not planned. Guided. I placed grocery orders I didn't need, so you'd deliver them. Broke railings that weren't broken, so you'd come back. Created opportunities to see your character. To make sure you were who Miriam believed you were. And you passed every test. Keisha speaks for the first time. You used him. I helped him. There's a difference. Yes, I manipulated circumstances. But I also saved his daughter from eviction and poverty. I gave him a future. And in return, he gave me something money can't buy. Genuine companionship in my final days. Someone who chose to stay not because I'm rich, but because I needed help. That's real. Even if the beginning was orchestrated. Derek stands. Paces. His mind is spinning too fast to land anywhere solid. Miriam never mentioned her daughter. Because I asked her not to. Patient confidentiality. Respect for Sarah's privacy. And because by the time Sarah died, Miriam was already sick herself. She had bigger concerns than keeping track of promises. Robert opens his briefcase. Pulls out a letter. Mrs. Harwood asked me to give you this. It's from your wife. Written during her final week. She wanted you to have it if you ever met Celeste. Derek's hands shake as he takes the envelope. His name is written across the front in Miriam's handwriting. Shaky from illness, but unmistakably hers. He opens it. Reads, My love, if you're reading this, Celeste found you. Good. I made her promise to watch over you and Nora if anything happened to me. Made her promise to help however she could. She's a good woman carrying impossible guilt. Please be patient with her. Please understand that sometimes the best gifts come wrapped in strange packages. I know you'll judge yourself harshly for accepting help. That's who you are, too proud for your own good. But Derek, listen to me. There's no shame in survival. There's no dishonor in accepting grace. I'm not here to help you anymore. So let someone else carry some of the weight. Love Nora for both of us. And if Celeste asks you to do something that seems crazy, like maybe marrying her even though she's dying, consider it. She has her reasons. Trust them. Trust her. Trust that sometimes the strangest paths lead to the right destinations. I love you. Always have. Always will. Even from wherever I am now. Take care of our girl. Miriam. Derek's vision blurs. The letter falls from his hands. He sits down hard, breathing raggedly, trying to process everything. She knew, he whispers. Miriam knew you'd do this. She suggested it. Actually, Celeste smiles through tears. Said you'd never accept charity, but you might accept a job, a marriage, a transaction, something where you earned the help instead of just receiving it. She knew how to reach you. So all of this was two dying women trying to protect the people they loved. Sarah wanted Keisha cared for. I wanted to honor my daughter's dying wish. Miriam wanted you and Nora safe. And you wanted to keep your promise to your wife. We all got what we needed. That's not deception. That's love in complicated form. Keisha moves from the window, sits on the edge of Celeste's bed. My mother talked about you once, right before she died. Said her birth mother reached out. Said she regretted not responding. Said she wished she'd been brave enough to forgive. She said that. She said you gave her life, even if you gave her away. She understood why. Didn't make it hurt less, but she understood. Celeste reaches for Keisha's hand. This time, Keisha doesn't pull away. I'm sorry, Celeste whispers. For all of it. For giving Sarah away. For not fighting harder. For waiting too long to make things right. I know. Keisha's voice cracks. And I forgive you. Not because you deserve it, but because my mother would have wanted me to. They sit together, three broken people connected by promises and loss, and the stubborn refusal to give up on family, even when family looks nothing like they expected. Celeste's breathing slows. The machines beep slower. She's fading again. One more thing, she says. The house. I want you both to live there. Together. Raise your daughters there. Make it a home instead of a museum. Promise me. We promise, Derek and Keisha say together. Good. Celeste closes her eyes. Then I can rest. She dies 3 hours later. Peaceful. Surrounded by the strange family she built from broken pieces. The funeral is small. 40 people. Some family. Some friends. Some who came to judge and left reconsidering their assumptions. Victoria tries to contest the will anyway. The courts dismiss it within a week. Everything was legal. Everything was documented. Celeste made sure. Derek and Keisha don't become friends immediately, but they become something. Co-guardians of Celeste's legacy. Co-inheritors of promises made by dying women. Partners in figuring out how to honor the past while building the future. Nora and Keisha's daughter, 3-year-old Amara, play in the garden where Michael once played. Where Celeste once sat alone. Where life continues despite loss. 6 months later, Derek stands on the porch Celeste hired him to fix. The same porch where everything started. He thinks about promises. About sacrifice. About the strange ways love survives death. His phone buzzes. Text from Keisha. Amara wants pancakes. Your turn to make them. He smiles. Text back, on my way. Inside the mansion that's slowly becoming a home, he can hear laughter. Children playing. Life continuing. And somewhere, wherever dead wives and dying women go when they leave, he hopes Miriam and Celeste and Sarah are watching. Hopes they see what they built. Hopes they know their promises weren't broken. Just transformed into something stranger and more beautiful than any of them imagined. Thanks for watching.